What we're going to do now, we will be having a fireside chat. And by this fireside, we're having an exchange on what do people do to network, to connect to each other, to motivate each other. And they will share their individual stories and experiences. And we will have Thomas Schanz telling us about Italy, what they do there. We will have Anne, who tells us about Latin America. We will have Gus talking about the EMT, and Martha telling us about Italy. So over to you. Who would like to get started? Gus or Thomas, how about you tell us about what you do in Switzerland?
Yes, it's my pleasure. Hello, everyone. So we do different things. We started about 5 years ago to organize a little hiking tour once a year. Obviously, we have lots of mountains and also rivers, and this is a good possibility to network with all the active members without an agenda, without a goal, just get together, have some fun, and learn some private things about all these others. And what happens as a side effect, we exchange a lot of ideas and questions and thoughts about the movement, about pretty much everything. And it's like a glue. It gets us closer together. And yeah, it's fun, and you can bring your spouse, your husband, wife, whatever, to that event. It doesn't really matter if we are 20 people or 25 hiking somewhere. And the nice thing with the hiking is that you always walk next to someone else. So sometimes you are in the front, sometimes you are in the middle, and so there is a natural exchange. You are not sitting at the table all evening long with the same people next to you and across the table. That's a very good possibility to get to know others. And the second thing is we organize once a year an event which is similar than the big summer week, the Sommerwoche in Germany or Austria. We do it only a weekend from Friday night to Sunday noon-ish. And it's pretty much the same setup than the summer week. There is a lot of room for all the topics that people bring in. It's all the World Cafe style with different parallel breakout rooms or with parallel sessions. And there is only a small part where we share common information that everyone should know. And with that, we also grow our network and our team spirit. But at the same time, we bring our movement forward. We develop new ideas. We do brainstorming to certain topics. And that's the way it's like every year there starts a new evolution phase after that weekend, because there is so much energy, so much people coming together, and then after that the projects start and improve certain things in our movement. Those are the two things we do in Switzerland.
Okay, very interesting to hear. This like social glue of meeting each other. Now, Switzerland is fairly small, so that's all quite somewhat easily doable. If we now hear from Anne, I think you do something like that, getting people together, but connecting the entire Latin American continent. So we're talking about humongous differences in terms of physical distance. How do you go about that in Latin America?
Hi all, thank you for this opportunity to share experiences. It's an honor to be with you in this panel, such experienced mates from all over the world. Thank you. Very challenging question, Daniela, because there are so many different activities we've done to reach out that goal. I'll start from our local chapter in Uruguay. We are set in Montevideo, the capital of Uruguay, but we call ourselves Uruguay local chapter. We didn't want our local chapter to be only from our city, because we are only 3.5 million population country. So we want to be all together and supporting one another. We have people living in different parts of the country. We don't have the opportunity to meet all the time, but we try to at least organize one meeting every year, so that we can have the opportunity to meet in person and have the feeling that the other person exists, has a body, and that's one of the things that I think that helps us glue as a group, that thing that makes what Thomas was talking about, and that makes the difference between a group of people and a team that can go to reach a goal together, that is spreading the common good and the economy for the common good. And we had the opportunity, we are very, very young. We started in 2020, but we had the opportunity to grow a lot, and also co-found, as you said, Daniela, the continental chapter. That was a very important challenge for us, but also great satisfaction also, because we have the opportunity to exchange with people from different cultures, and Latin America is a very vast and different, has lots of different languages and cultures, and it's very nourishing for each one of us to belong to the continental chapter. And we haven't had the opportunity to meet all together yet, but we are planning to, because we've seen that the presence makes a lot of difference. But anyway, we are in the continental chapter. We are having monthly meetings that nourishes us all, at least to talk about what we have been doing in every country, so that we can enrich each other and support each other, and make our ECG more contagious, more viral. And well, I don't know if you have questions about anything of this, or I'll pass on the word to Marta, that's already with us, to tell us about Italy.
Right. Hi, Marta. I'm glad you've made it now. Welcome.
Thank you.
So, as far as I know, you have an annual Italy tour. What is that all about?
Yeah, indeed. So it's not a real tour because until now it has been but we call it ECG tour. And basically its goal is to know better the ECG matrix through some webinars. The first year we prepared this. It was 12 different webinars on 12 different themes of the matrix. And the idea was an initial introduction, general introduction about the topic with a consultant or with an expert, also not ECG, but expert of the topic, for instance, sociocracy or nonviolent communication or, I don't know, purpose or whatever. And then 2 or 3 case histories of witnesses. Again, if we had a best practice as an organization, ECG organization, of course, it was the preferred one. But if there was no ECG organization with a real best practice on that topic, so with a score of 7 to 10, we also went to look for other kind of companies. For instance, we had Patagonia, we had some other companies that are really good and could be good witness of that specific topic. And in that way, we could really raise the number of members of the ECG because we really got to be known nationally. The first year was on the matrix for companies. The second year was on the first book of Christian Felber of The Economy for the Common Good. So it was 6 different webinars, and each webinar was discovering how the society would change with the ECG. So what about schools and education? What about the financial system? What about an organization, etc., etc., etc. And then the third year, we came back on the matrix for companies. But with the idea to start more from the needs and the crisis that companies are living in this moment, and how the ECG can be an answer to those crises. And this year, 2024, we should be able to organize the first physical tour on the matrix for individuals. But we are revising it at the local level, at the Italian level. So in the end, we could not finish yet the revision, the review of the matrix. And so we are not sure we will be able to do the physical tour with this year already. But this would be great in order to help also local chapters to gather more participants.
Thank you. That also sounds very interesting and fascinating. Now, Gus, you are on the one hand a member of the EMT, where you have members throughout the world. So we're even going larger than just Latin America. And on the other hand, you are located in Germany. And I believe you want to share 2 experiences with us.
Yeah, so right, I wanted to talk about our EMT meetings, but also about the summer week that's been taking place in Germany and Austria for, I think, about 10 years now. So in the EMT, we're 6 people, and we meet regularly. Generally, we've tried to meet in person about 5 times a year. And of course, the in-person meetings are much more valuable, and we have more time. We can share, we can go on walks together, we can have dinner together and all that. But it's also a challenge because we have Luciana in Argentina, and of course she can't come all the time. We've managed that she can come 1 time a year. So we have 1 meeting a year with all of us, and the other meetings are either hybrid, where some of us will be in person and some of us online, or we have some meetings that are just online. And I don't know how it is for you all, but for the person who's not present, not in the room, and they're on the computer, it's very difficult. I think not only do you feel bad that you can't be there with everybody, you're kind of envious that everybody's in the room and can go out to dinner together and you can't. But I think it's also technically difficult because the microphone might not be so good. the speakers are not so good. So it's a language issue, and almost if everybody's online together, it sometimes is easier than if two people are online and the rest are in the room. So we're trying to navigate that and work through that. We have a new member in our team, Sophie. She's from Sweden. So at least for us Europeans, we can meet, and we'll try to meet more in northern Germany, where we can more easily reach and meet each other. So I don't know, of course, you all know the meetings in person are great. And one thing that we've noticed, that we try not to just have agenda item all day long. And at our last meeting, we had a really good inspiration from Christian Felber that we said we're going to take 3 hours out of the day and walk, take a hike. But it's not going to just be a hike. We're going to also work on the hike. So we walked and we talked and we worked through, I think, 2 or 3 different agenda items. And we would sit, and we had a little picnic. So we sat, but at first I thought it's not going to work, because if you're just walking, you're only walking next to one person. But we actually had a larger path, so the 5 of us could talk together while we were walking. And of course, while we sat together, we could work. We sat at the lake and had our agenda with us. Nobody brought their computers, but we even managed to have a meeting without computers. So I can recommend that if you have, it was a great experience for me to have a meeting outside in nature and while you're walking. And Christian also built in a couple of meditations where we kind of, had some deeper thoughts about how we're working together and how we communicate and stuff like that. Heidi, meetings instead of meetings. Yeah, so those are the EMT meetings. But also something that's really exciting, again, in 2 or 3 weeks, I'll go to the German speaking summer week. It's in northern Germany, and I just bought my train ticket. And they already have 100 people signed up to go to this in-person meeting, and it's 5 days long. And it's mostly open spaces. So people come together, and then in the morning, people put up messages about which type of meeting, which type of open space they want to offer. And then people can say, I want to join this one, I want to join that one. And then within an hour, basically the agenda for the day is set up, and you go and can join these different open spaces. And those are really important to see all these people and to see what a powerful movement we are. And again, this time over 100. I think this will be the biggest one that I've been to so far. So if people in other regions of the world, if you can manage to have these 2, 3, 4 day meetings with people, it's of course extremely valuable. Yeah, and maybe I'll see some of you at the German Sommerwoche in northern Germany. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all of this. Beate also stressed before how important it is for her to just be at the local chapter and meet her peers, people who are like-minded. And I guess we're understanding, yes, in person is ideal, but if that is not possible, online is a substitute. I remember like 2 or 3 years ago, where in Latin America, you were singing songs together online and showed us videos. That was really cool. And maybe you could still tell us a bit about that. But what I was also wondering is, Thomas, you are responsible not only for your own local chapter, but you're a local chapter, whatever, what used to be coordinator for all the Swiss local chapters. So I assume you have a lot of experience and insight into what do local chapters do? Would you have some recommendations for local chapters, what they can do to build strong connections?
Yeah, let's try and see. So it depends a little bit on the size of the local chapter. It's different if you are 5 people that show up to a physical meeting, or if you have 15 to 20. Let's say you are 5 and you have a guest, then it's no problem to introduce all these 5 people to this person, and then you start your meeting based on the agenda. And here and there, you introduce or you help this guest to understand what we are talking about, like about these abbreviations, etc. If you are 15 or 20, it doesn't work anymore. It would take too much time if every month you have that meeting and you have 1 guest or 2 guests, and you start this big introduction round. So you need something else. Then it makes sense to have a separate onboarding session, and it doesn't need to be executed by the coordinator. It can be anyone else that has a little bit experience, a knowledge about the ECG. Plus, on top of that, what I also recommend is, by side those working meetings, have a fun meeting in between, like just a gathering. You meet in a cafe and you have a random talk. And for those fun meetings, you invite all these guests. And there you have the room to get to know each other. You ask them, how did you learn about us? So you recognize what works. Is it social media? Is it Christian Felber's book, or whatever it is? And they can ask all their questions they have, and you can find out what is the need they have. Do they want to have a task immediately, or do they just want to see how we behave, how we work with each other, and all these things? So yeah, that's what I would recommend, to have a smooth start for all these new members. Oh, you are on mute.
Thank you. Thank you, Thomas. Anne, as I said, you're singing online. I just really remember that very well, and that video, it looked like so much fun. Could you share some of that, please, since you cannot meet in person, all of you?
Thank you very much for all the tips that you've already gave, and for your question, Daniela. It seems that we are not having so much time these days to have fun as we used to do. As we make the ECG grow, and we have more tasks to perform, we have less free time for creating all those videos, and so we'll have to separate a little bit more spare time to keep on doing that, because it's not only recalled by you as you say, but by ourselves also. I also agree with Thomas that these are the kind of situations that actually build bonds, strong bonds among the people. Not only meetings to do something for ECG to work, but also gatherings where you can share and get to know each other. And I was recalling the different moments where we could succeed in that, and they mostly have to do with being ourselves together, and then things come up, emerge. The best of ourselves emerge in those situations. we are also, well, I facilitate groups and organizations through different methodologies, and we apply all that, sociocracy, youth theory, and social presencing, theater, are instruments that are great for us. We are trying to put all that in each and every of our meetings, at least 15 minutes of something that makes us feel that we are persons, not only workers or not only thinkers, but to make ourselves embody what we are going to do, and to connect mind, heart, and action. We have I don't know if everyone can understand it. Maybe you can. I'll share. Let me see if I can share it. The link to one video that we did when Christian Felber came. You can find many videos. You can find the whole conference he gave here in Uruguay at our university. You can find a lot of pictures in our ECG local chapter in LinkedIn, in our profile in LinkedIn. You'll be able to find many stuff all over the web. But I would like to share this in particular about our meeting. We had a whole day meeting with 200 people from different organizations, from the government to the people that don't have the NGOs and leaders that don't have the chance to be heard every day. And the methodologies we applied made them come to a significant chat and have the opportunity to talk about ECG from deep inside and from the roots, and everyone could, at least if you don't understand Spanish, maybe you can see subtitles in English or in your language, but anyway you can see how people interact. And we are talking about ECG common indexes and ECG switching from GDP into common good indexes with 2,000 people. So and it was fun. It was great, actually. So maybe that's one of the tips I can give from us.
Thank you. Maybe we could still watch that video together. I'm right now trying to get it to English subtitles, but Andrea is having a question right now.
Yes, correct. So thank you very much for the ideas and suggestions. So I really liked what you proposed and what you shared. So thank you very much for that. And absolutely, I absolutely agree with what you all said. And this is an essential part of building good relationships. But I was now wondering that apart from creating these spaces, these fun moments, etc., to build these relationships, a natural part of building relationships is also managing conflicts and managing misunderstandings and managing different people coming from different backgrounds and different cultures, etc. So I was wondering if you have any suggestion or any experience you would like to share with us today. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. If no one jumps in, I'll do. Whenever we tried to handle a big task, for instance, bringing Christian Felber to Uruguay, we organized it in 1 month and a half, because we got to know that he was going to come to South America and that maybe there would be the opportunity, and he said yes, and we didn't have much time to organize it, nor money at all, so we had to do a lot of work, and that was a great challenge for us. It made us it created lots of conflicts that we hadn't had before, because we had to perform something that was a great challenge, and it was a great pressure. And I also I love a Japanese concept that I apply to groups and organizations, that is kintsukuroi. I don't know if you know kintsugi or kintsukuroi. It's whenever there's a vessel, una vasija, ceramic vessel that is broken, they don't repair it, they don't throw it away, of course, they repair it, but they don't try it not to see the wounds. They repair it with gold so that you can see where it has been hurt. And the kintsukuroi vessels are more valued than the ones that are brand new. Why? Because it can be seen that they had gone through difficulties. They had been hurt, but they can be there again and forever. So that's why I try to, every time we have a storm, I want to bring the group into that feeling. We are not less good because we had gone under or went through a storm. We are better. We could do it. Our ship almost, I don't know the words in English. Sorry that I lack of words sometimes. But we are still together. Maybe we have to cure some wounds. We have to apply some recipes to come together and speak one to another one, build a safe space in order to tell each other what we didn't like about the process, what we didn't like about the way we did things, but we still keep our goals, and we still have each other. And when we are better because we could go through that, and we are still together. I don't know if I make myself clear. Sorry for my bad English.
Absolutely. And I love your analogy and your positive view on conflicts, because conflicts are just a normal part of life and they just happen wherever people meet. And that you're saying, don't be so scared of conflict and it's not all negative. There's actually opportunity in conflict. Now, Rebecca is having her hand up with a question, and I hate to cut you off. Rebecca, maybe we could do this real quick and be a minute or two behind the schedule.
What is it? Do I have a minute time or not? No.
1 minute.
Okay.
Let's see that we get that done real quick and a quick response.
It's more or less, I say it more or less like like an announcement. I'm also part of the conflict management in the DACH realm, which makes it's dealing with conflicts, and the large part of it is prevention. So it's like right now we are doing the first course. We're preparing the first course for the academy about what is a conflict. How do I know what's a conflict? What is the conflict onboarding? If you've got one, and what can you do about it? Like, and then there will be more like some courses about how do we speak together and how do we interact and so on. So, but this, I guess this will become international, and we decided on this conflict management to be a DACH sub-hub, and maybe there are more people who want to join internationally in future. Maybe we'll find a way. So that's it.
Thank you so much, Rebecca, for this valuable information. And I think that's a great way of closing up now, so that we know, yes, it's great to meet together. There are lots of ideas and opportunities. And thank you so much, particularly Marta, that you're dialing in, although you are somewhere out and about. And I would have loved to ask you one more question, but it was also very interesting, all this input. And maybe, Rebecca, you could put a link for the COCO into the chat, so that at least the people in the DACH region know where to go to. So I'm now going to hand over to Heidi. We also heard how important it is when we are together to also meditate together, just realize what we are, how physical we are. And so Heidi is going to lead us through some breath work before we continue on at 6:30. So I'm handing over to Heidi and inviting you